We're all excited for X-Men Days of Future Past. Oh, we're so excited, so excited. Story for the movie is, well, they all fucked up. They fucked up royally. The Sentinels are now in X-Men, finally. And, well, they've evolved to the point that they adapt to any mutant's powers, so they can just basically kill, kill, kill. And the Sentinels by this point, are now not only getting mutants, but humans who can pass on the mutant gene. So both humans and mutants are screwed. So the only way to make sure none of this happens is they send Wolverine back in time to get the younger versions of everybody to stop Mystique from killing Trask, thus preventing the Sentinel program from continuing. Okay, now overall, the story was excellent. I've never read the original two-issue comic book that this movie's based on, but I've read highlights of it, and it was pretty well good adaptation, and the movie was excellent for it. Great acting by everybody, great emotional turmoil, just great set design, costumes, special effects. There was great CGI. I mean, we get Quicksilver in this one, and there's one point where in the kitchen, there's like the fire water is coming down, and Magneto gets a bunch of metal products in the air because everybody's about to shoot, and time just freezes, and Quicksilver just runs around everywhere, just doing a bunch of different things to knock out all the guards, and as soon as he stops, everything goes in sync, and time runs normally, and everybody just falls down. It was awesome, just the way everything went. The way the water hit his face, or the way he made people punch to see all the ripples of the skin, him moving the bullets out of the way so they don't hit his friends. Oh, it was excellent. It was very, very cool. The Sentinels themselves were pretty cool. The futuristic versions where they adapt, they were very kind of creepy in a way. But the original versions from the 70s that you get to see on display are very much like from the comics and the cartoon series that we all know and love. So that was pretty cool. It's nice to see the continuing conflict between Charles Xavier and Eric Lehnsherr. That's the heart and soul of X-Men, is that relationship, and I always loved that about X-Men, was that relationship. And we get to see it not only continue with the younger versions, but we see it come full circle with the older ones, with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. And it was great because at one point, Eric Lehnsherr is just like battle worn, and he's just tired, and he's sitting down in the temple where Wolverine is laying where his consciousness is being sent back in time, and he looks at Xavier and he's just like, all the wasted time of us just fighting, what was it all for, and this and that, and you just see them both just come together, and Xavier doesn't really say much, he just looks at him, and it's just, you just see this emotion between them, and at the end of it, they just Eric holds out his hand, and then Lehnsherr holds out his, and they just hold a hand, hold a hand and just hold it tightly. You just see this great emotion of love and respect and friendship. It's just great. Not only because for the characters, but because both Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart are friends outside of the movie as well, and it's fantastic of their friendship. And it's just like, wow, great enemies become great friends. And it's just seeing both their love from be it from their personal life interact with their characters. It's just, you just got to feel it. It was just great. In fact, I'm actually kind of tearing up right now. Of course, Peter Dinklage is great in any role he does. It was cool to see him play this type of role for a comic book movie, because we've all seen him in different comedy roles and some drama roles and this or that, where it was great. But it was interesting to see him in a comic book movie, and the role that he played wasn't like mystical or something. It was actually just a normal person just being evil, and it was great. And we also got to see little comic book fans will see little hints about or nods to some actual history of the X-Men legends. Of course, it's not as hard nowadays, but it is still kind of hard to make it look like a film. You're seeing a film that is set in a time period. And having it set in the 1970s is hard, but not as hard as would be, setting in later times, excuse me. And they did a very well job. You know, cars looked great, music, clothing, everything looked perfect. I was very impressed with them. Fight scenes were, of course, really cool. And everything was just very well rounded. Everything was just well rounded. Everything, conclusion, climax, everything was just great. And as a personal note, not only as a fan from the animated series and reading some of the comics, I haven't read a lot of X-Men comics, but I've read some. It was nice to see them correct a lot of mistakes by the end of the movie of what they have done since X-Men 3. They correct a lot of mistakes, and it was good to see them do that and go off on a fresh start. So it was good to see that. And of course, there is a scene at the end of the movie, at the end of the credits. I will not reveal what it is because, you know, it is cool when you see it all. We all know what it is because I'm sure it's been leaked out everywhere, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm just saying it's good to finally see this character in a movie. I've been wanting to see this character in a movie adaptation of X-Men, so it was good to see him at least nodded. I mean, later he will come into play. Yeah, other than that, everything seemed pretty well rounded. I can't remember. I think there was a couple mistakes that are in the movie, but I can't really remember off the top of my head because I was so enjoyed with the movie. You know, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I did see it with a fan of X-Men in particular, and he didn't like some of the things because adapting something you love, sometimes they have to tweak things, and so he didn't really like that of the tweaking that they did. But other than that, it is a good movie. Yeah, very well rounded. I have to give this movie a good not 3 stars. You know what? I would give it a good, 3.5 stars. 3.5 stars. I'll give it that. You know, it was just about fantastic. I really did enjoy it a lot, and do recommend it for people who enjoy X-Men and particularly enjoy the original movies as well as X-Men First Class. You know, it continues both sides and concludes one side of the story, which was pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Have it. X-Men Days of Future Past. Must see. Have a nice one.